Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, wonderful, wonderful, sublime individual. Today, I would like to speak about allowing yourself to become a little self-aware. That means, when we sit here and now, I have already reminded you, right? You are now aware of yourself. So, within your being, there might be many different sensations. Might be a little uncomfortable, might be a uplifting and euphoric feeling, might be a feeling of, frustration, might be a feeling of fear, concern, any of these things. Now, by you becoming self-aware in the moment, you allow yourself to feel whatever comes up in the moment. When you feel them, you acknowledge them. The emotions that often have been stuck for a little bit. Many of these want to be seen. They come upwards from the lower being of man. And the imagination and our sense of idealism and so on is a little above the earth. Now, to balance this out, to not be fantastical and abstract, it requires us to be aware of our surroundings and our senses, of course. Also, in contrary to that, closing our senses off and meditate so we can become aware of our own inner senses, our emotions, our will impulses, our will to act, our will to move, and also our interests, our values, what we every day use time and energy on, right? The more we unfold our own inner being, the more you end up caring about others because you feel what others feel. When you see someone, it is hard to explain it, but you can see someone's change in the aura based on their mood, you feel it immediately. It is like a sudden switch of a channel, And that often comes with triggering. And it comes with certain things we need to reflect upon. Because if we blame others and outside us feeling like this, we will never be able to grab a hold of this mastery. The mastery comes from not being afraid, being courageous in standing strong in our inner being. This has nothing to do with egotism or narcissism or self-centeredness. This is truly about awakening your I, so you can see others' I and accommodate in mutual respect and dignity. Meeting a person in the middle. You will quickly see if they meet you in the middle because you stretch a spiritual hand to them. So it is all about if they take the invitation or not. Nothing, and we do not judge or blame those that do not take our hand. We just move on and, reach the hand to more. We do this out of, resolve, devotion, and love. We do not do this out of fear of consequences or punishment. We do this because it is love. We do this because it is human. It is uplifting. The more you master your imagination, your inspiration, and your intuition, they are higher faculties of man that are, since we do not otherwise use them in everyday life, they are hard to explain in everyday language. Imagination is you grabbing a hold of your visualization abilities to, observe something. You take a topic of your choice into your imagination and visualize with conscious activity. That is imagination. Pure, active, conscious, free imagination. Now, by you using your imagination, you affect your emotions. Because whatever you think about, your emotions will follow. You can't fully cut them out because they are part of this objective reality we have. We cannot cut off emotions and see that as objectivity, when we can not live without emotions in the first place. We will be flying heads, and a head alone cannot survive. We need heart, or we should develop heart, or else the consequences of not doing so will manifest itself in the future. by us cultivating morality, love, dignity despite our flaws, not using our flaws and shadows as excuses to not do the work, but saying, I am a flawed human being with many shadows and many, well, karmic lessons and payments we need to go through to become a higher being over time, over lifetimes. And that is why we never become arrogant, never rest on our laurels, never look down on others. All of these are something we fight for within ourselves. This is something we strive for to be a true living reality. Not only knowing about it and having it as an abstract, you see where I'm coming from, but a living. Every time you meet another human being, you do it as a practice consciously. That is mastery. That is developing inner spiritual faculties for, well, love. Because you truly, I promise you, once you have awakened what spiritual love is, that means love for development, love to see the world flourish and evolve and become growing and so on, unfolding every individual, it is more or less impossible to turn that off. Because you know now, you know in a higher sense what we are doing. Of course, not everything. There are a lot of things that is hidden from us because we are not ready for it yet. And that is the wonderful, wonderful gift of this beautiful path, isn't it? To awaken and what will occur next. What is the next adventure to go on? And it might just be a tiny bit of adventure, a one-day adventure. You know? The hero's path, and it might start out slow. Begin practicing and training with a wooden sword and a wooden shield and beat that doll, you know? Symbolically speaking, we do not turn that way, you know? It is strengthening our inner soul spirit. So the more we are able to handle our own inner emotions and turbulence, the less likely we are to act out of character and do damage. It is also much easier to uplift others, and it is easier to meet someone in the middle. Obviously, we wish for, well, a more understanding, empathic Philadelphia, a future community of brotherly and sisterly love, sibling love. That outside of our blood ties, we can see another individual human beings, no matter where he comes from, no matter what gender, no matter what religion, no matter what culture or race, which is, in the end, a human being. We are a soul, spiritual human being. And it is all about finding that common ground with what a human being is. And that everyone is different areas of development, more or less. So some is strengthening their etheric body, some is strengthening their astral, some is strengthening their ego, and some culture is strengthening their physical body. This is just how this balance around the world works. And it is all for every single human being. Everyone cultivates something for everyone. If they are aware of it or not is of a different matter, but the higher spiritual beings is still guiding us and moving us along on the path that is right. And the initiates that are, well, participating in this are the ones that are giving voice to the higher realms. They are more or less letting the higher beings speak through them. So that we can, well, have a glimpse of what human beings are capable of in the future when it comes to love, understanding, comprehension and cognition. Also our inner faculties for emotion and our thinking, imagination, and our will. And we are kind of all genders here. One of my mantras is, I am, it thinks, she feels, and he wills. These are spiritual beings, of course. And the soul has always been the mother in esoteric science, in esoteric terms. The father has always been the instructor, the outer disciplinarian, the father, you know. But father without mother becomes sterile. So it's important to have the motherly, gentle, nurturing love that is so sorely needed today, of pure production, of pure manifestation and pure doing. We unfold the motherly feeling of our soul, developing love. And with the father and the mother combined, you get the child, the son. And that is what we strive towards for the future, right now and anytime. We take it in strides, take it in steps, having patience and finding what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are, so we don't end up butting our heads towards something it's not possible. You see? You find your strength and your whole path's open for you. It really does. And I will leave you with this. May Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, the higher hierarchies, ancient masters of old, our ancestors, all bless, guide, protect and love you on your individual path to the hero's journey, and may you be loved. Love you all. Thank you so much. Goodbye.